Welcome to another episode of Simon Says, where facts come first. I'm your host, Jenny Simon. And today we continue with some current affairs, things that happened over the past week. You know, there's a saying, you cannot plant oranges and expect to reap apples. To say the least, this administration believes that that is possible. And I say so because they continue to hire persons who's not qualified for the jobs. As they say, jobs for the boys and jobs for the girls, no matter what. But one saying that is true to its word is this one. And I repeat, you cannot plant oranges and expect to reap apples. Take this for example.
We acquired the site for 22 million.
Oh, you have said so.
Yes, I said so right in the commencement of
Yes.
22 million.
Oh, I missed that.
$2 billion US, and he also indicated that once that deal is finalized, I think we are talking close to October 15th. We will make that announcement in a further press briefing.
No, that's not surprise. So I'm saying, so let me be clear in the event it wasn't heard.
Let's take another clip.
Everyone, I also want to make mention of Honorable Philip Davis, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Bahamas. He will be joining us soon. Oh, he's here. You are here, sir. You've been here. Well, we need to give you a special nutmeg ice cream today. We'll give you 2 scoops, okay? Everybody else will get 1. I know you'd appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No, the honorable gentleman, the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, he was there from the start. And what makes it worse, he was sitting next to our Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, at the front, at the very front, to his left, was Prime Minister Philip Davis of the Bahamas. Now, what is obvious is that our dear press secretary did not do her job. Well, she did. Actually, she is qualified in theater arts and the promotions it is. And yeah, she did a little ice cream part and thing. That's what she's good at. Theater arts, communications, PR. I did say it on this program that she is not qualified for the job. If, for instance, she might have been given the information that the Prime Minister of Barbados was going to be late, before you begin, you have to make sure that on your list, it corresponds with who is there and who is not there before you begin, first of all. Before the whole event started, days before, you knew that was happening. You get familiarized because it was not a part of this whole PR communication thing. And you probably never followed the politics of the Caribbean. Maybe Grenada too, for all you know. You upgrade yourself. You go, you find out who is the Prime Minister of Barbados. And mind you, the Prime Minister of the Bahamas is handing over to Grenada the chairmanship. So that is something you should know. That is something you should familiarize yourself with, the face, as you did with the media, the name and the faces, right? You familiarize yourself, and so you know who Prime Minister Philip Davis is, you know who Prime Minister Skerrit is, all the different prime ministers, right? So if there's this gentleman sitting in the front row, in your face, you don't know who he is. You didn't take the time to do the work, to be familiar with the faces and put the names to it. And go on there embarrassing us. Not you, just you, embarrassing us. Let's take another clip.
These next 2 days, we are committed to finding our own solution. And you know what they say about small acts, right? What's the saying? Small acts cut down big tree. So keep that in your head. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome a son of the Grenadian soil. He's the Deputy Director Secretary of the UNCCC Secretariat. He supports the Executive Secretary in managing the UNFCCC Secretariat and its staff, and advises on a range of issues related to the development and strengthening of the organization as an institution, including strategic operations planning, program budget planning, monitoring and evaluation, strategic oversight of resource mobilization. Whew. Have a big job, boy. All right, let me find it. That's the problem when we stop use paper, right? Let me find my place. All right, on the screen. All right. He's strategic oversight of resource mobilization efforts, staff well-being and long-term HR resource planning, oversight of institutional governance arrangements, and guidance to support the intergovernmental affairs in the context of the overall Secretariat operations. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our very own Mr. Simon Steele.
So is it that you found, Madam Press Secretary, that the job is too big for our very own Simon Steele? This, the second Caribbean small island developing state, SIDS, high-level dialogue on climate change. It was a formal event. It wasn't Soca Monarch, it wasn't Queen Show. All the little fillers, you were supposed to stick to the script in this one. You're supposed to stick to the script. All the small talk. Okay, that's not your field, and they decided to give you the job. Who's training you? Who's helping you along that way? Because it's a norm now that you guys get the positions and you need help, advisors, you're learning on the job, always. We have to deal with the fact that, and get accustomed to the fact that you guys are all learning on the job. And you have to be briefed. So, did you get briefing, or you didn't think you need the briefing? It is obvious, it is clear that you needed the briefing, man. You stop, you gone off script, you can't even make your way back. You can't find your way back because you're all over the place. And this is what I mean by you can't plant oranges and expect to reap apples. A clear example of a round peg in a square hole. But it's all in the family. As long as it's in the family, it don't matter. I don't understand why in a broad area like communications and PR, that we couldn't find somebody suited for that job, that we had to hire someone who is qualified in theater arts, events planning and promotions to do the work of a press secretary. It baffles me that the Prime Minister would go along with that, even though you might have been suggested for the case. And that you couldn't take the time to tender out the job, the position, and hire someone, no matter who they perceived to support, to hire someone competent and qualified with the experience for such a position. But as I said, it's all in the family. It's just one big family. Now, speaking of family, information reaching Simon Says concretize the fact that the NDC Minister of Cabinet, Ministers of Cabinet, has taken nepotism to another level. What is nepotism? It is the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives, friends, or associates, especially by giving them jobs. Nepotism and conflict of interest goes hand in hand. What is conflict of interest? Conflict of interest occurs when an individual personal interest, family, friendship, financial, or social factors could compromise his or her judgment, decisions, or actions in the workplace. The Ministry of Finance. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance is the brother of the line minister there, the Honorable Minister Dennis Cornwall. Ministry of Health, a position created to accommodate the uncle of the Minister of Health, who helped finance his campaign, in the name Global Health Ambassador. Let's take a look at the handing over of the instrument.
Dr. Lane, who received his secondary education at the St. David's Catholic Secondary School, studied medicine at the St. George's University and earned his doctorate and graduated at the top of his class. He then moved to the U.S., where he began his career as an oncologist at the Jamaica Hospital in Queens. In his capacity as health ambassador to Grenada, Dr. Lane, who is described as a perfectionist, is now responsible for engaging stakeholders, both regionally and internationally, to assist in the improvement of the healthcare sector.
Healthcare is a top priority for the government of Grenada as we embark upon our transformational agenda, and I'm confident that he will represent us well at the different international organizations and fora. So I now present these to you.
That was Foreign Affairs Minister Joseph Andel. In his acceptance speech, Dr. Lane committed to provide due diligence.
It's heartwarming to me that this government has put healthcare in the forefront, front and center, as compared to other prior administrations. I would do my utmost best to represent Grenada and to bring as much healthcare assets to Grenada as possible. In the international organizations, which I do have an idea what goes on there. So thank you very much again, and I appreciate it.
Health Minister Jonathan McCret is expected to hold formal engagement with organizations such as the Pan American Health Organization, the World Health Organization, and CARPHA.
We are cognizant of the fact that global health crises are increasing, and as a result, health financing becomes a part of the roundtable conversation globally. And we know that you are quite capable as it relates to your academic as well as your medical and technical expertise to bring the financing home to health so that we can continue our transformational agenda.
GBN reached out to government officials for further information on Dr. Lane's appointment. However, our efforts have proven futile. Christelina John.
Thank you, Christelina John, GBN. Now, what wasn't said there is that Dr. Lane no longer works for that hospital in Queens. He has been for a while now. He owns his own oncology clinic in New Jersey. Congratulations, he's a son of the soil. Happy to see him climbing the ladder. Now, where is the global health ambassador? Since he was given the instrument there, the public, I don't know if he's been seen by the minister or the cabinet of Grenada, but the public have not seen or heard of Dr. Lane. In fact, as Minister Andel suggests, he's supposed to be the one attending international forums. There was one in Washington recently, a health, the PAHO or WHO, one of them held it, and neither the Minister for Health or Uncle, the Global Health Ambassador, attended. No one attended for Grenada. Where, you see, they created that position for him. He now holds a diplomatic passport and can travel the world, networking for himself, for his own business. He don't have to do it for Grenada. He got what he wants, the passport in his hand, the diplomatic passport. Front and center, health, front and center. This administration, we have more health issues than we've had for the past 20 years in this general hospital, in our health care system. And I will continue to speak about it because, as I said before, it affects lives and livelihoods. So and it doesn't pick green or yellow or red or blue or purple. The color of our skin don't matter. The texture of our hair don't matter. We all have to suffer it. We had persons who were filthy rich recently dying at the general hospital. It doesn't matter who you are. It affects all of us, healthcare. And so we would really like for you to put, and I'm referring to the NDC administration now in office, for you to put healthcare front and center, as you said you would. Ministry of MIT. That's a big one. As Fred would say, a big one. The new permanent secretary in the Ministry of MIT is the minister's first cousin. It is alleged that there was a fallout with the former permanent secretary. I don't know if it's after they came out from the trip to India and Canada posing. I remember I'd come back with all these Hindu vests. Pretty. However, it is also alleged that the fallout came about when the former PS refused to sign ghost contracts that was placed on her desk in the name of a member of one of the minister's workers in his constituency, in his constituency office. Pardon me. He went and reported her to the headmaster. And when questioned, as I understand it, at the cabinet level, well, why? What happened? You guys were going so good together. With no explanation, he just wanted her removed. He got his way as usual. The golden boy, no, golden boy have to get his way. and she was removed. It seems like anything the golden boy wants, the golden boys get, the golden boy gets. This gentleman, Honorable Andy Williams, is now our acting Prime Minister. As I speak, he is our acting Prime Minister. Again, this is the third time in the last 2 weeks since the Prime Minister been traveling. He's now in Qatar. And Andy Williams is again our acting Prime Minister. And I would repeat some things that I said before, but that because I needed to sink in your heads. I don't know what it is. The Prime Minister seems to think he's the only one that's doing work within the cabinet. Maybe he is. I'm not sure what he's doing because I haven't seen it except for the flower planting. We don't have to put a minister in office, hire a minister to plant flowers and to paint, to have people paint. Well, he doesn't paint it anyway, or plant it. So we could have gotten those people to plant the flowers and paint the bridges and the walls around the roundabouts and so. That could have been done. Look nice. It look very nice. But that don't put food on the table. That don't put food on the table. That cannot send children to school, buy school clothing, pay fees, put food in their lunch boxes to go to work, to go to school. After coming into office, this minister received the maximum, a 300,000 loan under the MSME program. Now that is a program that was put in place by the government of Grenada and the Grenada Development Bank. The previous administration and followed up by this now administration to help put businesses back in place after the COVID. And such businesses was like, that was targeted as agriculture, tourism, where small hotels, fishing, manufacturing, transportation, and service. So after the pandemic. Now tell me which one of those A&D distributors that received the loan, which of those does A&D distributor and Mr. Andy Williams, who is the managing director and owner of the company, which of those they fall under? Hotel, agriculture, which one? That he was able to access that loan, the maximum amount of the loan. Added to that, and that was in December 2022. I think it was the 20th of December 2022. 6 months, exactly 6 months after going into office. Added to that, on the 20th of March 2023, he got another loan and what they call a consolidated sum, because he had previous loans, he had taken other loans, he added to it before, then this time around, they added new loans and put everything together, what they call a consolidated sum of another 2 million, well, totaling 2,360,423.72 added together with the MSME. Now, Is it true that to date, at a number of businesses, there are notices that says, do not accept checks from our acting Prime Minister, Honorable Andy Williams? And what is more concerning about what we call the bounce checks is that it's a crime. It's a crime. Let's take a look at this video.
O'Neil Ryan Mighty was originally slapped with 10 counts of fraud and an 11th charge for the offense of money laundering. The matter involves the issuance of over $80,000 worth of bounced checks to a commercial bank in St. George's in September 2016.
So this young man, and you look at him, he's always wearing a mask, you can see that he is very young still, is hauled off to court and being charged for fraud, 10 counts for writing bounce checks. The question is it true that our acting Prime Minister, Honorable Andy Williams, even as Minister of MIT, within the government and the parliament of this country, Grenada, is still writing bounce checks? He's getting away with it. The golden boy is getting away with it. I understand it. And I'm going to ask, is it true? Other financial institutions like MyFi and Fast Cash has issued loans to this minister before he was a minister, and is still owing and not paying. I mean, I was sitting in a business place recently, and a gentleman came up and sat next to me, and he said, let me show you something. And I followed a thread on his phone. I wouldn't go further because, as he said, I don't own a company, but I just want to show you this. 28,000. What has we done to deserve this? And so there are a lot of people out there probably do the same things, but they're not our acting Prime Minister. They're not sitting in our cabinet and talking and talking and talking a lot of crap on TV and showing off and posing. I can't wait to see him in the full Hindu outfit, not just a vest, put on the skirt, the wrap, the skirt. I want to see that looking good. You know, going to India, going to Canada, going to Dubai. He's on his way in the next few days, as a matter of fact, to New York. The traveling and the posing, that's all we get. That's all we get for voting them into office. All the fanfare disappeared about what they would do, who they put in first, health first, they would do all of that. Young people that they pledge to help up. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Is it true that our now acting Prime Minister, as we speak, has faltered on his payments to the Grenada Development Bank? Is it true he's not paying his loan? Are we surprised? Are you surprised? I'm not. Because one of the amounts that he had in the bank, I think it was 1 point something million, but before coming into office, it was not serviced. And that is one of the ones they put together to come up to the $2.3 million. It wasn't serviced. Then he had his own business. Now he's getting a salary and have all kind of people to pay still. And to live his life. He would have bills. And you have the MSME loan, and these loans are 1% per annum from the Grenada Development Bank. But they send in the low-income people to the commercial banks to try and get loans for 55,000 and 73,000. We'll also get to that. The Ministry of Infrastructure, the sister of the line minister, Honorable Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, is now a member of staff at the Ministry of Infrastructure. Don't forget, let's not lose that track of what we're dealing here with. Nepotism, hand in hand with conflict of interest. Further afield, the Roberts brothers are on the commission appointed to deal with the legalization of cannabis. Now, while I'm on the Roberts brothers, is it true that a position was created, just like the global health ambassador and the other two, Ms. Orlando Romain and Ms. Andrea St. Bernard, and ambassadors at large? A position was created for the brother, Kennedy Roberts. He is now the ambassador of the environment. Just asking. Information reaching me suggests, and I'm asking, is it true that we now have an ambassador to the environment? And what is his claim to fame there? What is he supposed to be doing as ambassador to the environment? Moving on, the best friend of the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture is his advisor. We know that, but it fits into where we are today with nepotism and conflict of interest. The job is a payback for driving him around during the 2023 campaign. Is that true? But since he was exposed, that is, the infamous Ian Django Thomas, he was never again mentioned as advisor. You see, that contract wasn't supposed to get out there. That's the one to get real upset about. Want to fire people, bring people in front of the Public Service Commission to say they leaked the contract. What's the big deal? Okay, it was leaked. But he's an advisor in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. What is so wrong? Why are you hiding that fact? That's a contract. Why are you, what is the big secret? And so now, when the word advisor come up for that ministry, we only hear of former ministers of youth, sports and culture, Minister Simmons, Patrick Simmons. That's the only name. And it was even said that Ian Django Thomas is not advising the minister. But they're correct. It's signed, there's a contract signed, check issued every month. I think it's $5,000 every month. But he's not doing the work of an advisor. And speaking to members of staff, yeah, he trips through in the morning, sometimes walk around, do nothing and leave. Understand he's in Bolio in his office. He has a real estate office in Bolio. He now has security contracts. Job for the boys, job for the boys, job for the boys. the nepotism is so blatant. This advisor, Ian Django Thomas, is not just the advisor, he's a partner in crime. He was involved in the sale of PAW 92, for those of you who remember, the car that did not belong to them that they sold for $10,000, where the owner was asking for $18,000, and eventually had to pay the owner $18,000, showed up with cash. Folks, this is some serious, it's not even a laughing matter. You know, they say all skin teeth is not green, or all green is not skin teeth. I don't know, but there's nothing else that I can do right now but to chuckle a little bit. Just thinking of where we came from and all the complaints and all the protests. I was a part of it. And I keep saying it, I'm not hiding from it. I was a part of it. We complained and we spoke of the ills. Nothing this serious. When it comes to nepotism and conflict of interest within the system, nothing compared to this that's happening now. Under the noses of our Prime Minister, and nothing is being done about it. It seems to be okay. In fact, as I said, look, we have to deal with our acting Prime Minister. I mean, it's which one you're going to put. You got to dip in the hat. However, I'm certain that there are those with less skeletons in the closet. This one has skeleton all outside, falling out of the closet, all on the ground, in the walkway, in the hallway, in the bedroom. Skeletons everywhere. Everywhere. Now, while we're on the Minister of Sports, what is going on with the Carifta Games? What is going on with the Carifta Games? Let's take a break, and when we come back, we move into sports.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.
In other news, the Grenada Football Association, GFA, was fined $5,000 by CONCACAF for the poor condition of the football grounds, the substandard of the field for the game against Suriname. Of which the Ministry of Sports is responsible for the preparation of the fields, for keeping the fields at high standards, as we used to have before, and always got ratings for our fields, especially the fields at the stadium. We also the games, international games, we were there, and we had no issues before. While we're in sports, I'm going to ask about Carifta Games. What's going on there? Where is that? That is roughly 6-7 months away. It's in March, right? And I mean, you can't wait for the beginning of March to start the preparations. And don't forget, we also have preparations for the independence, 50th anniversary of the independence celebration going on, which involves that said minister, culture. And so we're wondering now, where's the priority? Although we hear nothing of the independence celebrations really, except of the date of the launch, but we hear nothing about the character games. The tracks supposed to be replaced. As I understand it, it takes 6 months to do so. It was promised to be replaced and in working condition by the end of December 2023. Remember, I said it takes 6 months. 6 months to lay down, to put the tracks down. We're 3 months away from December. So I'm guessing now, even if it starts now, which it hasn't, is that we will go right up to March. Our athletes would not get a chance to practice on it, or will it be done at all? Would it be done at all? Because as I understand it, the ministry has gotten turned down by a company that can do it, that will do it, because of the same time, space, and the rush that they would be in to do so. But we're traveling and reposing. The minister went to South Korea recently. I think he spent like a week or maybe even 2. He'd been there for a while. He was there for a while. Posing. You leave an undone field, the people get charged for it, a substandard field, I should say, an undone track that's supposed to be replaced for the games, and you've gone to South Korea to beg for 2 buses. 2 buses for the same Carifka games that we may not even get in the end, because at the end of the day, where we are now, we are way behind. Incompetence at the highest level. But am I surprised? No, I don't know if you are, but I'm not, because I drew that to you guys in 2021 and in 2022 before the general elections. He came back empty-handed with all the buses. We have to have him tell us what's the next move, or where you get the buses, or why the need for the 2 buses extra. Maybe you don't want to have to pay some of our local people that have the buses, the tow buses, the big ones that they can use to carry the athletes around. Maybe they're in peace and they don't want to lease those buses for that period, so you got to get the own bus. But the bus and he come back. I don't understand the need to travel to South Korea to ask for 2 buses. I was never in government. I don't know the run-ins there. I don't know if it could have been done by email. I don't know if it could have been done by a phone call. I don't understand the need. I personally do not understand the need to fly to South Korea. Because when it was said that the minister, that's around the time when he ran over the young man in Willis. And then people were saying, what are you going to Korea to do, South Korea? Why is the minister in South Korea? Only to find out to go and ask for 2 buses. Folks, Ibad. Question for Minister Ron Reddit. Why isn't Grenada on the list for T20 World Cup games next year. Oh, you know, we have our cricketers, our cricket supporters, and they get all geared up for the cricket in the stadium in Queen's Park. Granted, we don't get a huge turnout all the time, but it's something, as was said before, it's sports tourism, and the Ministry of Sports is pushing sports tourism. And when it was questioned, did Grenada bid for games? And it was said Grenada didn't even bid. The minister himself said, oh yes, we did bid. So the question is, if you bid, why didn't we, how come we're not on the list? How we didn't make the list? Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, they're all on the list for cricket, World Cup cricket next year. And if you didn't bid, why are you lying? But the lies are nothing new, because you're the one who said Miss McQueen gave you the car. So you had, all right, you can sell it if you want because she gave it to you. But then you showed up with the $18,000, 10 one day, 8 the next, cash as a drug dealer to pay for the car that was given to you. I got a call a few days ago. A gentleman on the phone, he said, I have to call you to tell you. The minister, Ron Redden, he promised to do certain things for me. And I can't catch up to him. I've been trying and not answering his phone. Or I am looking at him now. I called him to ask him, when can we meet up? And he told me he's at the General Hospital. And that wasn't the General Hospital. He was in his constituency in the Northeast. He told the gentleman he is at the General Hospital. With lies like that, we don't know what to believe, what's true and what's not. There's no need. I said it before, there's no need for some of the lies. But when they say when a dog's sucking egg, it's sucking egg, huh? You do what you want. And if you put a pig in a palace, it's a pig. You put lipstick on it, it's still a pig. A gentleman gave me a story one time about a pig. He went up to the country, bought a pig, nice white pig. And this is true story. He came down, put it in the backyard, and there's a pig leg. So later on he went out, he said, let's see what's going on with the pig. He can't find the pig. He said, Lord of mercy, somebody either stole his pig or the pig get away through the fence, whatever. He searched, he can't find the pig. On his way back, and he crossing the Callaloo Drain, he sees something brown, muddy, moving, so he realizes that's the pig. The white pig in the mud, turned brown. God rest his soul, the gentleman who gave me that story. He's dead now, dead and gone. May his soul rest in peace. It's just to see that habits, when you have bad habits, at that age, you can only bend a tree when it's young. At this age, don't even try. Don't even try. So the question is, as I said to the minister, did we bid or not? If not, why not? And if we did bid, why aren't we considered? Is it the fields, the condition of the fields? Is it because? Well, tell us. Don't let me give you things to say. Just tell us why. Whether we bid or not, and why. Ministry of Housing. In the the news over the past few days, all you hear is housing, 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 housing. First, let me play you the clips relating to this affair, this saga, and so you can follow what I'm saying after.
Let me step back a little bit. We were handed in the last couple of weeks the names of that were selected for these homes. This was done by a separate body, a selection committee handled by the ministry, and the distribution of these homes are now about to take place. During this week, we have been contacting various persons who have been selected as candidates and to let them know that they have been selected and what the next steps are. What is the mindset and how we go about this set of housing as opposed that is different from the rest? In the last 2 weeks, we would have had a press conference where we itemized and we highlighted the problems in phase 1 of the low-income housing. And in dealing with going forward, every housing project, every time you do something, you should learn from it. What have we learned from it? And how we would address that in future housing was applied to this one. The process is different, and some people might be nervous about the process. But let me assure you that housing will hold your hands through it and do not let you get frustrated. But it is simple. A lot of people may have not taken a loan before, and they may wonder why they have to take a loan. I have my lawyer to my right, which is going to explain to you in her presentation what the benefits are in taking a loan. I have my accountant to my left, who's going to explain to you further aspects about this housing project. So as we go down the road, we would see that ownership of the units from the start is the way to go. We would transfer into your hands over 60 an equity or wealth directly into your hands immediately as you purchase these units. We are asking people to do one of two things. If you have the full amount, you could come to the Housing Authority and buy it straight from the Housing Authority. If you don't, then you will need a loan from any of the financial institutions. The Housing Authority of Grenada contacted the financial institutions before, and they are on board, and they're eager and they're willing. They are going to be offering loans. We had suggested at 3%, and it will go from maybe between 3 and 5%. But we really got the assurance of some that they would stick to the 3%. The cost of a single one-bedroom unit is $55,000. And the cost of a single two-bedroom unit is $73,000.
Selected applicants will be contacted by the authority to visit our office first to collect the notice of offer to purchase. The applicant will then be required to seek financing to confirm the purchase of the unit, or if they have the finance, they can arrange for direct purchase from HAG. I repeat, you will be required to seek financing to confirm the purchase of the unit, or you can arrange for direct purchase from HAG if your financing is available. So it means that collecting the notice of offer to purchase does not guarantee purchase of the unit.
We have been speaking about the whole question of giving you a unit. And when we speak of a unit, we mean a condominium unit pursuant to the Condominium Act of Grenada, which came into effect since 1978, but has not really been used. But the Housing Authority has decided, based on the construction and how they wish to dispose of these units, to use the Condominium Act. And what does that mean? The Condominium Act means that we are giving persons a freehold interest in a complex. So when you walk in and you turn your key, it is your unit. You don't have a landlord, you are now the owner. What is the benefit of having the condominium unit, having the condo unit, which is a freehold, as opposed to leasehold? You don't have a landlord. When you have leasehold property, you have a landlord and you operate on specific terms of the landlord. You breach those terms, you are out of that property. The condo unit is a little bit different. So if I may just go into a little detail, it is an individually owned residential unit in a complex of buildings. The condo owners own their units, but share common spaces and amenities. So in that regard, you will share your common spaces, and that will be governed by the Homeowners Association.
The NDC managed to transform words and phrases, changing their meaning altogether. According to Cambridge English Dictionary, low income means not having or earning much money. Many struggle to make ends meet, particularly those from low-income families. Other words for low income are poor, impoverished, penniless. Refer to those lacking money. Now, can we ask a low-income person to pay off for their apartment? I ain't in this condominium thing. It's an apartment in an apartment building. Can we ask them to pay off in full? How can we ask them to go to the bank to get money when that was not on the table at all? When they applied previously for the apartments, they didn't know they would have had to go to the bank. As a matter of fact, that was nowhere on the table. This is new, but then it's accustomed doing that. Always. They did it with the 150 after they tell the people they would not remove it. They remove it when the people go to pay to collect their money. It's gone, who faint, who end up in hospital, who get high blood pressure. The children did common entrance. They're waiting for their results. It's a big thing for the schools. When 2 days before the results come out, you will not be getting results like that. We don't need to know who comes first, second, or third. And everybody pass. Everybody passing. So the first 200 and getting into your school, that ain't raining again. That we throw that out the door with the bath water. We threw the baby out with the bath water, and we just now these people apply for those. Some of them receive letters, the ones in Karakou for sure. And now it's a different story about going to the bank. What is going to happen in effect is that, and remember, there's a selected committee formed to select persons and to vet, right, and to screen. And all that's going to happen is that the poor and the vulnerable would not make the list because they can't go to no bank. The way they say the bank is on board, did the bank say to the housing authority that anybody who come in front of them with a letter from housing, they would receive their loan? No, because the housing people said that getting selected doesn't mean that you're going to get the apartment, which means that if you go to the bank and you get turned down, you would not get the apartment. The Chinese government, the people and government of the Republic of China, gave as a gift to the people the government and people of Grenada, these 600 plus houses, apartments, for the people of low income stature. They can't go to the bank, and especially these days what the banks has asked for. And so it's unconscionable to do that to that demographic. It is unconscionable. And to do it like it was done. Give the people their houses, the apartments, put more stringent measures if you want to say that to them to pay. And next time around, when you get another set of houses, if you get another set of houses from the Chinese or whomever, you put your measures in place for the bank so they know from upfront this is what it is. Am I able to apply for these houses? Would I be able to get money from a bank or any financial institution? And then you know how to put your pot on fire. But this is not fair to these people. I mean, how unconscionable can you get? The level of arrogance that came with it from the minister. The letters are, as a matter of fact, came different. The letter from Carriacou and the one from Grenada, they have common phrases, common lines, but the line that says signing the sale agreement 30 days or accepting the offer to purchase 30 days, right? That's the one for Grenada. The one for Carriacou gives them, I think it's 10 days? 10 days for Carriacou. Right? I have letters of both for Grenada and Carriacou. Right. So Carriacou gives the applicant 10 days after receipt and signing of the offer to purchase to get back to them. And Grenada gets 30 days. How we come up with that? Why is Carriacou different to Grenada? It's just anything, and it comes back to, as I said before, planning, proper planning, and thinking before we act. Thinking as a government, we're not just some little village group that doing we own thing and everybody have their own thing doing and everybody saying their own thing, and there's no coming together and proper final decisions made. As we've heard, the 2-bedroom is 73,000, the ones in Dumfries, and the Grenada and the 1-bedroom, I'm sorry, is $55,000. You know, and people asking, where are these people going to get these monies? The low-income people would not be the ones going to the banks. We have stepped it up, and of course, the screening would be more middle-income people. Some of them may not even use the property. And we still have the housing issue out there with our low income, what we call the poor and the vulnerable. Some of you don't like to hear it, but it's a fact, it's there, and we can't get rid of it. All the big talk about teaching people how to fish instead of giving them a fish, let's see that materialize. It's not happening. We've added, 1,000 people to the seed program since June 2023. So in the meantime, when we have not taught them how to fish, we had to give them the fish. This is not a Grenada thing. It's worldwide. In Dominica, the houses was given to the Dominican government and people free, and they in turn gave it to their low-income people free. Well, we probably can't afford to do that, and we need to maintain and so on. We don't have the money to do it, so we need that money, and so we charge them a little something. But we're not asking them. When I hear the chairman and the accountant saying, if they have the finances to pay without going to the banks, then they can come directly and pay. Where are they going to find it? That type of money? I'm puzzled. Folks, this is a wrap on today's episode of Simon Says. Always a pleasure conversing with you. See you next week, same time, same place, as you join the conversation of another Simon Says. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.